All right, welcome to DEGENTALK. Today we're talking about UFC 207, and this is Theo Goodman. I'm here today with Stoicism. How's it going?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Did I get your name right?
Stoicism, but yeah, close enough, man.
Stoicism. Okay, great. All right, I think it's a good card. I even saw some people that are criticizing it, but I don't really get it. I think it's a real interesting card. And, of course, the main event is going to be really interesting. But let's go first into what we were talking about right before we went on an interesting fight, Portier against Jim Miller. Now, Jim Miller is a pretty good dog here. Let's see here. We got at 5 dimes, 4.75. I mean, when I saw the line come out, I thought, wow, why is Jim Miller such an underdog? Maybe I should jump on that, but I haven't been 100% really convinced on it. So I'm leaning just totally skipping this whole fight. But I think that you're leaning Jim Miller. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I mean, Dustin Poirier, he hasn't looked amazing. Well, his last fight, he lost by knockout to Michael Johnson. He just wanted to stand and bang with him, I guess. With Jim Miller, Jim Miller's a brawler. He's the kind of guy who will kind of get you to stand and bang with him. So I'm assuming that's kind of the trick he's going to be playing. That's the game plan he's going to be going in with. And at 4.7. There's certainly has a puncher's chance here, if not more so than that. I mean, Jim Miller, I wouldn't justify betting against Jim Miller no matter what the odds are. This guy's such a veteran, and he's been in so many, amazing fights that yeah, this looks like one of the better values on the card.
Okay, I hear that. Yeah, I mean, out of all the underdogs that I saw on the card, I definitely see him as a high value, and I really don't understand the line. I mean, I could understand him being some kind of dog, maybe like plus 100, plus 150 or something like that, but I don't really get why he's such a big dog. In the last fight, yeah, well, what it was Michael Johnson looked really good. He was really fast, and we
Right.
saw, he has Michael Johnson has really improved his stand up, and his speed. So I think that's more of what it was in the last fight. But I don't
No,
understand why he's not getting any respect on this. Is there something we're missing here? Why is the line like that?
I'm gonna have to listen to a few podcasts and see if there's anything going on right now. But I don't know. He's coming off of a win against Joe Lozon from August 2016.
Yeah,
Tiago Alves. These are not no-name guys. And Jim Miller, he's getting a little bit older. He's definitely been in some wars, but I think he can still bang it out. So yeah, I mean, Dustin Poirier, a lot of people seem to think right now that Poirier is kind of at his prime, and that may be the case. But Poirier has also had some bad losses, along the road here. So, we'll see if he's had some really tough losses. Conor McGregor being one, and the most recent one with Michael Johnson being another. But,
true.
a lot of people a lot of people in the MMA community seem to think that he's going to be champion at some point. It's completely possible, and he seems to have the athleticism and like mindset for it, but it's still yet to be determined. So yeah, I would think that this would be more of like a 1.5 to 2.5 type line rather than a 1.2 to 4.7. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what shakes out.
Right. I was thinking, I was also looking at leaning on the over here, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that. Over 2.5 is 1.9 even. Fight goes to
Mhm.
decision 2.0. I think they're both pretty tough, but I don't know. I'm not sure 100% sure I like that either. I have to wait and see on that. All right. Yeah. You have anything else on that fight?
I could definitely see it going to a decision. Um,
Yeah, I could too. You get 2.0 for going the distance. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, both of these guys are super durable. So Jim Miller has not been the kind of guy who's been known to quit just because he's getting hit in the face a bunch. And Poirier, he's got the skills to hang in there, I think. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
if
All right,
nothing
let me.
else, then that might be the move. That might be the
And
move.
I might just put a small amount on Miller wins by submission. Actually, I kind of like his submission game that he has
Is there a
sometimes.
prop bet? Is there a prop for that?
Yeah, that's out. Yeah, that's out. It pays 13, Miller by submission. So I might just do a small flyer on this one submission and maybe the over. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm going to have to think about that more. But if I had to bet on that right now, then that's what I would do. As far as the next,
Cool.
yeah, as far as the next one, I don't really have an opinion about Teixeira against Canier, Jared Canier. I think actually that Teixeira should just retire. I just seen him get, especially his last knockout was really brutal. And his tooth flew out of his mouth, and
Actually, it
you know,
didn't. Actually,
okay,
his tooth did
okay,
not fly out.
okay, good.
That was reported widely on Reddit and elsewhere, but it's actually
It was.
just a spitball.
Well, it didn't matter if his tooth fell out or not. It was such a brutal knockout.
It was
But
bad, yeah.
yeah, and actually in a lot of his fights, he's really durable. Besides that, and now he's fighting
Yeah.
another big guy. I don't know. I'm gonna skip. Do you have a pick for this? I'm just gonna skip it.
I do not, I don't know too much about that weight class. It's not an easy weight class for me to think about really. And yeah, it seems like that weight class has a whole lot of randomness to it. I thought Glover Teixeira was going to give AJ a run for it, and he had, Anthony Johnson just Anthony Johnsoned him. So
no, I got that one
Yeah.
wrong. I got that one wrong. I'm going to admit it. I got that one totally wrong. But yeah, I don't know. He's got 25, 30 fights still. I don't know. All right, let's just go over here to this is an interesting one. Souza against Tim Boetsch. Now, Souza is pretty heavy favorite at 118 now. God, I think it opened around 1.25, something like that. Now it's been hit down to 1.18. And like we were talking about before, the under is 1.71. That keeps getting hit too. And the over is 1.5. What do you like in this fight?
I like the over, man. I mean, it's over 1.5. And yeah, Tim Boetsch is known as like a first round, kind of guy. But if it's with Jacare, Jacare might just want to neutralize the threat, get him to the ground, and start working some, work for some top position or a submission. And if Tim can survive that for 1.5 rounds, then that looks like a decent value, Betting on Souza in this fight seems a little bit silly, but I would have a really hard time betting on Boetsch because I just don't know if he has the skill set to deal with a guy like Jacare.
Oh, I agree with that, definitely. I'm definitely not betting against Jacare here. It's just that actually I'm going to go the total other way. We can talk about it next video. I'm going to go under, actually. I think that Boetsch is a big first round finisher or even in second round. And he's also been finished in the first and second round a bunch of times too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And Jacare's striking is also not anything is also pretty damn good. So I don't know. This could get interesting. And, with the submission of Jacare and the striking of both of them, I think under is going to be my pick. But I don't know. You're making me think about it. But I'm going to stick with under 1.5. As far as the prop, like trying to figure out to find some kind of value on the props here, nothing pops out at me right now. And let's see, doesn't go the distance, doesn't pay much either. So probably if your argument though, you could just go for the goes to distance 3.6 if you're going to go over anyway.
Yeah, but I mean that's not a bad move at all. Who knows? It's so hard to. It's only 3 rounds, but there's such a skill disparity in this fight that it's hard to see it going the distance. It's going to be an interesting fight, though. That's for sure. Really interesting.
Definitely. Okay, and then we got Anderson Silva against Derek Brunson. Yeah, so I mean, we know Anderson Silva, of course. But what one are we going to see? Is he going to be one that's trying to knock out people in round 1, or is he going to be someone that's going to troll people for 3 rounds and be happy to get some strikes in? I don't know, really. And Derek Brunson, I don't really know what to think of him right now. What's your pick on this one?
Derek Brunson, yeah, I don't know what to think of him either. I mean, he's fighting a legend here, Anderson Silva, and his last few wins have, well, his last fight was against Whitaker, and he basically just unloaded the gas tank against Whitaker. He was just like, all right, I don't think I have the skills to take this guy on, in a real fight, not a real fight, but I don't have the skills to like go the distance with this guy. So I'm just going to unload the gas tank, just try to knock him out in the first round. Basically got tired around 3 minutes in, and then just took a beating from Whitaker, and then his fight before that, the referee stepped in and stopped the fight after no ground and pound strikes even landed against Uriah Hall. Brunson knocked Uriah Hall down and then started going for, some ground and pound strikes, but they all missed. But Herb Dean thought that they were landing, so he steps in and stops the fight. And then the UFC is making believe like that was, a legit victory. And it is a legit victory, but it's a little bit, that fight could have kept going. So as far as this guy at the highest level and at the Anderson Silva type level, I don't know if he has the skills or the mentality to take on somebody like Anderson. Now, Anderson, we think that like his last few losses have happened, but as far as I'm concerned, he beat Michael Bisping fair and square. He knocked Michael Bisping out, and then the buzzer landed in Herb Dean. I'm not a huge fan of Herb Dean. He seems to always be involved in some fuckery, and he let the fight keep going. Daniel Cormier, that was just a stupid fight at UFC 200 that Anderson was just showing up for a paycheck, obviously. Nick Diaz was a victory, a fair and square victory that was overturned because of steroids. But Silva, I mean, he's good. He's super good. I think he's maybe the same level that he used to be. And people are kind of hard on him nowadays because his record's a little salty now, but he's still Anderson the Spider Silva, I think. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I like Silva in this fight though.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I agree with you. I think that I didn't agree with the decision in the Bisping fight at all. And yeah, of course, he just came in on the Cormier fight at last minute. So respect for that.
Yep.
I can definitely, as far as Brunson, he has a thing where he doesn't tuck his chin really well, and he was really exposed last fight. And yeah, like you said, he's just won so many first round. He's got a lot of first round finishes where he's just able to overpower the guy and get a TKO. I like Herb Dean. We can go into that another time. I think that overall he's a really good ref, and I'm glad that he's around. I think there's some that are worse, but yeah, I think I remember that fight. I think that it probably would have ended anyway, so I wasn't so upset about that stoppage. But yeah, he looks. It looks just so threatening when he's just ground pounding guys. Brunson,
right?
It could, could play into it. Okay, let's just check the odds really quick because I was wondering about the over under here also. And let's see, we got under 1.5, 2.05. I don't really like it because sometimes Anderson Silva is happy staying on the outside, making guys tired, and so I don't think. And I think if I was him fighting Brunson, I would want to take it to the later rounds. So
yes.
All right. Hey, you get good money on Silva. Look at that, 2.25.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get how Silva's the dog here.
That might be a good one. All right, let's go on to the title fight. Yeah. Holm against Jermaine, the Iron Lady. And this is going to be a good one. 5 rounds for the new women's featherweight title at 145 for the women's division. And of course, these two are decorated strikers. Holm has got all kinds of boxing credentials, and Jermaine has got all kinds of Muay Thai credentials. This looks like it's going to be a striker's delight. And Holm, just fought Shevchenko, another striker. I don't know if that was just by chance, double back-to-back matchups against strikers, just how it turned out. But could be just another it could come down to who's good in another area. Um, I like the Iron Lady here, Jermaine, the Iron Lady here. What do you got?
Well, it's hard to say because we've never seen a 145-pound fight before for women, and I don't know what kind of Holly we're going to see at 145. I think she's actually going to be a lot better. I think she can't lose this fight because if she's lost the last two, and I think she's in the mental state where she just can't lose this fight at all. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happened, but I'm sitting this fight out because I just really don't know. But
Mhm.
I'm hoping that Holly can get it done. And if I had to, I like the odds on. I mean, I just don't know much about Jermaine Durandamy, and there's not much on her really, and she doesn't have any huge wins really in the UFC. So yeah, I mean, striker versus striker here though. If she's the better striker, then but yeah, 145 pounds. There's just a lot of mystery around this fight, man.
Yeah, there is. Well, she. I'm gonna go with Jermaine. I think that she's got more power, and I think she's got an advantage in the clinch too. She's got a really good clinch game, good knees. Maybe she even gets that kind of trip takedown that Shevchenko used. Also from my Thai background, and I I don't know. Holm is just not aggressive enough. And, she gets in these situations where she's just barely winning the round and then, can easily be taken away from her if the other fighter gets a little bit of damage or something. And, someone could argue, okay, that's going to play into Holmes' game because she's a counter striker, but this is not just like uh, a medium skilled or not really great striker coming forward. This is someone that can tactically go forward and make Holly Holm fight backwards and against the cage. And I think that we might see her getting Holly Holm tested against the cage here. And like I said, I like the Iron Lady's power more than I like Holly
Mhm.
Holm's counter striking. So I'm gonna go. It started out as Jermaine as the underdog, but now she's a slight favorite. Wow, it's even down to 1.77. It was at 185, 1.8,
Mhm.
7.7. Let's see what happens. Maybe some people will start betting on Holm now that it gets closer to the card. Holly Holm is definitely more well known. She's got that big win over Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
Um, Over under here also looks. I think I'm gonna stay with it away from it, but some people were suggesting the under, and you get under 4.5 for 2.1. But I could see this still going the distance with two strikers like that.
Definitely one prop that I would be interested in is Holly by submission.
Holly by submission, one of the most unlikely ones. It probably pays a lot. Just a second.
Holly's actually really good at jiu-jitsu. She's actually very underrated.
Oh, I believe it, but we just haven't seen much of it.
We have not, but
All right, hold on.
now if Jermaine starts piecing her up on the feet, maybe she'll go for a takedown. Then who knows, right?
That's an interesting tactic that Holly Holm going for a takedown.
I think we might see it.
Distance decision. All right, I can't find it right now.
Okay, no problem. But yeah, I might be checking that
Oh,
one.
here we go. Yeah, I got it. 9.85.
Okay.
9.85 Holm by submission.
Might put a small amount of BTC on that one. See what happens. I mean, you know,
Sure.
I've heard from podcasts that Holly Holm is super nasty at jujitsu. Like she rolls with 185-pound guys and gives them hard time. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's also Jermaine has been talking on interviews like, hey, no one's seen my ground game. I'm a mature fighter. I've been practicing a lot. So who knows? Maybe they're gonna try to neutralize each other on the ground. It's definitely gonna be an interesting fight. So I'm really looking forward to that. Do you have
As far as the
anything?
pay-per-view
Mhm.
As far as the pay-per-view goes for this card though, this card is a little bit on the weak side. Good fight night card, but I can see why the numbers for this card probably not going to be that great.
Yeah, well, UFC has a lot of events. So I
Yeah.
guess that after let's see, what was it? 2 events ago, it was a fight night card. It was pretty weak. I guess that makes you excited, makes me excited about this one. So, just considering just about the amount. But so all right, so just to go through my official picks for this are just Jermaine the Iron Lady to win. It's right now at 1.77 at 5 times, and Souza Botch under 1.5, also about 177 now. It looks like a lot of people have been betting that. It's been get hammered down. What are your official picks for this card?
I like Anderson. I like Jim Miller, and I like the over on Jacare versus Boach.
All right, nice. Yeah, I think that that Miller underdog that's a solid underdog pick. Might have to take that too. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, you can talk to us over in Telegram. That's a chat app, kind of like WhatsApp, but it's better. So you can check us out. All you got to do is go to the URL telegram.me/sportsbet. You can talk to us, tell us your picks. We'll be commenting about the card as it happens live. So check us out, telegram.me/sportsbet. For watching, and talk to you next time.